Let's review another CV, and today's is a first-year university student, and there is a decent amount of work we need to do on this one. Looking straight away at the formatting, there are quite a few inconsistencies and faux pas in terms of the gaps. They are inconsistent. The person has used different font sizes for the same type of header, and also in terms of their dates, they should be completely aligned to the right. And finally, as a general observation, I would say that this person has enough space in this page to declutter it a little bit. Moving now on to education, I would suggest that the person move their degree name onto the same line as their university name, and then below that they can then include their modules and potentially whether they're on track to achieve a first class or not. I'm not too sure why there's such a big gap between GCSEs and then the actual grades they got, and likewise for A levels. Now moving on to work experience, this should always be done in reverse chronological order. So you should always put your most recent bit of work experience first in that list. Let's look at this Young Investment Banker program because it's probably the most relevant to finance. And as with always, one of the biggest mistakes I see is that people aren't including enough detail. They're saying here that they've analyzed real life news or they've tailored propositions based on various statistics, but you should be saying what that real life news is or what statistics you used. That way you'll not only appear more confident, but you'll also be more convincing to the reader. Next, on to responsibilities and achievements. As you might know, I would always suggest renaming this to something like leadership positions or leadership and extracurriculars. And again, this needs to be in reverse chronological order. Looking at this leaf experience, I would say that the person isn't doing a good enough job to really hype themselves up. Looking, let's say, at this first bullet point, yeah, they completed the course as a finalist, that's fine, but it does sound a bit mundane compared to saying like, I reached the finals and ranked within the top 11% of applicants, semicolon, highly commended for my performance, something along those lines. I also note that this person needs to be consistent in their use of tenses. For example, most of this CV is using ed at the end, provided, developed, whereas now here it's saying completing. Finally, let's look at skills and interests, and I think this can be consolidated into just a few lines. All we need are the hard skills, and you don't need to call them hard skills, just call them skills. Then you should have your languages line, which is fine, and then all the rest you can just write interests and then list out, reading, finance, gym and stuff as items within a list on that line.